The 255 plugin limit for New Vegas is such an inconvenience, but it was put in place because the game would probably lose so much stability that it wouldn't be worth playing anyway. Besides, I for one am sick of installing hundreds of mods just for the game to end up unstable and then good luck trying to figure out which mods or compatibility problems are causing that. Then there's the fact that many of you watching probably don't have a powerful PC setup, so you couldn't play with most of my mod lists even if you wanted to. And then in that moment, it came to me. Maybe we can learn to be satisfied with the bare minimum. Perhaps we don't actually need to install 100 mods just to improve upon the game's visuals. What if all it took was 3 mods only? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mods Bare Minimum, the show where overhauling the New Vegas experience is as simple as 1, 2, 3. In this episode, we're gonna do our damnedest to come up with a list of just 3 mods that'll give us the most return on investment when it comes to completely enhancing Fallout New Vegas's graphics. But do bear in mind that I am using the full Viva New Vegas mod list as a base in this video and will be using it for future episodes as well. If you don't know what VNV is, it's the definitive modding guide for Fallout New Vegas to get the game running as smoothly as possible whilst also adding in essential modded content. So, without further ado, let's begin. You see, the problem with Fallout New Vegas visually isn't so much about the world's textures and models, but it rather has to do with what the game is missing in the modern VFX department. But don't get me wrong, you could certainly improve upon the game's assets. It's just that in doing so, you would burn through our 3 plugin limit without getting the best bang for your buck. The game was built on an engine that, while capable for its time, lacks many of the advanced graphical features we see in contemporary titles. This means that even with high-resolution textures and detailed models, the game can still feel dated without the supporting visual effects. Implementing these visual effects can dramatically improve the game's appearance without necessarily overhauling every asset. It's also worth noting that adding high-resolution textures and detailed models can be resource-intensive, potentially affecting the game's performance. Long story short, the visual shortcomings of Fallout New Vegas are less about what's present and more about what's absent. By concentrating on integrating modern visual effects like detailed shadows, dynamic lighting, and enhanced particle effects, you can significantly elevate the game's visual experience. With that in mind, we can start by choosing our first mod, Desert Natural Weathers. To make sure I give the mod a fair showcase, I've disabled all overriding weather mods from Viva New Vegas. This is a comprehensive weather overhaul mod that aims to enhance the game's visual atmosphere by introducing dynamic weather patterns, improved lighting, and high-quality sky textures. It provides crisp, high-definition skies with improved color gradients, cloudy weather with varying degrees of cloud cover, realistic rain effects, including visual rain droplets and appropriate sound effects, foggy conditions that can vary in density, and snowfall in specific areas like Jacobstown. These weather conditions create a dynamic and immersive environment. The transition from one to the other is smooth and gradual. The mod also uses static panoramic cloud textures that wrap around the entire skybox, creating a seamless horizon. It modifies the game's color settings to provide more natural and vibrant hues, reducing the overly green or orange tints present in the vanilla game. It applies weather and visual enhancements to all DLC areas as well: Dead Money, Honest Hearts, Old World Blues, and Lonesome Road. DNW offers lower resolution textures in the optional files for players with less powerful systems, and that's what I'm using for this showcase, because you won't be able to tell the difference in quality, but you will notice the improvement in performance. It also allows you to adjust various settings such as night brightness and weather frequency. The mod author has clearly worked really hard on creating it. All in all, Desert Natural Weathers elevates the game to a new level of visual fidelity, all while respecting the game's original art style and atmosphere. So now that we've leveled up aspects of New Vegas's lighting and visual effects that were mostly present within the base game, it's time we turn our focus to adding what wasn't there to begin with. And that's where New Vegas Reloaded comes in. This is a comprehensive graphics extender mod for the game, known for enhancing its visual quality significantly. The mod aims to bring the visuals of New Vegas closer to modern standards by introducing a variety of graphical effects. It provides a host of new features and screen effects that are not available in the vanilla game. From the light scattering through raindrops to enhanced shadows and realistic lighting, NVR will massively improve upon the game's visuals. Here's a list of the main features it introduces. Ambient occlusion. This effect makes shadows in corners or where objects meet look more natural, giving scenes more depth and detail. It simulates the way light radiates in real life, blocking out areas that are naturally less exposed to light. Dynamic shadows. This makes shadows look more detailed and move realistically with the sun or other light sources, making everything feel more grounded and real. They make the game world more visually coherent. This is by far the most impactful feature in NVR, but also the most performance-intensive. God rays. These are beams of light that you sometimes see streaming through gaps in clouds or windows, adding a dramatic touch to the environment. In-game, this effect can spectacularly highlight certain times of day, adding to the beauty beauty of sunrises and sunsets. Bloom. It makes the light look like it's spilling out from bright areas, kind of like how a street lamp glows on a foggy night, making it seem brighter than it really is. This helps make the scene look more dramatic and eye-catching. Water effects. Water in the game now looks better with improved reflections and clearer visuals when looking through or moving in water. Precipitation effects. Rain and snow look and behave more realistically, accumulating on surfaces just like in real life. Volumetric fog. This adds realistic fog that changes thickness based on distance, enhancing the mood and feel of different weather conditions in the game. Depth of field. This makes the background look blurry when you're focusing on something up close, like how a camera focuses on one object and blurs out everything else. And one of the standout aspects of NVR is its ability to maintain the game's original post-processing and anti-aliasing methods. It offers extensive customization options, which is a strength but can also be a drawback for less experienced users. An incorrect installation can lead to crashes, incompatibilities, or other stability issues. For example, it is ill-advised to use the New Vegas heap replacer whilst using New Vegas Reloaded. The result could lead to constant crashes or certain NVR effects just not working at all. So to install NVR correctly, head over to this Discord server, download the latest build of Reloaded, then drag and drop it into your MO2 downloads tab. Make sure your shaders folder in MO2 overwrite is clear and install, then enable NVR. So far, we've installed 2 mods at the cost of just 1 plugin slot, so we've got space for a couple more, and I think the greatest mods we can use are those that upgrade the game's ambient lighting. Starting with Afterglow. This mod brightens many neon signs all over the Mojave in New Vegas. It uses a special script so the lights turn on and off whenever the sign is supposed to glow. Now the Mojave looks more exciting at night with glowing neon signs. Vegas feels like a real city of lights, making each place feel special and more fun to explore. Because this mod changes neon sign models, it could clash with other mods that do the same thing. It's best to let weather mods or other lighting fixes load after this one to avoid any problems. Lumen is a mod that makes many lights in New Vegas actually glow the way they look like they should. It works without needing an ESP file, which means it's easier to install and doesn't take up a mod slot. With Lumen, things like computer terminals, Nuka-Cola bottles, and weapon barrels can now give off light, making the game world feel more atmospheric. Areas that used to be dark or plain might now have a soft glow, especially around machinery, lamps, or special items. This can change the mood in some places, giving you a fresh view of locations you may have explored many times before. The result is a more immersive experience, especially if you enjoy exploring and noticing small details. Let's compare the vanilla game to the mod combo we've put together, and you'll notice how the game's visuals have been drastically improved with just a few mods. If you enjoy my content and would like to help me create more and better videos, consider supporting me by becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. You'll get access to my community Discord server, as well as early access to mod reviews, and your name will show up at the end of videos as such.